Good morning, private practice success community. It is Gerda here, clinical psychologist and your private practice success business coach and mentor. And welcome to my morning run. Yes, I am walking at the moment. And I so much enjoyed last week. Last week I came to you guys, I think it was 4 days in a row from my morning run. It's like, I think I'm hooked. I really loved speaking to you so early in the morning and at a time when my mind is really so clear, which always happens for me on my morning run. I get started, feel a bit fuzzy, and it's like when I get to the halfway point, it's like I'm in the flow zone. My mind is clear. I know what my day is going to be like. I feel motivated and inspired. And I love talking to you guys when I'm actually alone. So I thought I'll do it again today. And I want to talk to you guys this morning about dealing with indecision, particularly indecision currently occurring within the context of you being a private practice owner, potentially a manager of a team, a leader of a team, right? And a caretaker of a community of clients. And based on my discussions with a lot of people, practice owners across all levels of practice development, it has become clear to me that there is a significant amount of, decision paralysis, decision exhaustion that is currently occurring. If you know what I'm talking about, even if you're watching the replay, give me a love heart and say, Gerda, that is so me. And if you are here live with me, please say hi and hello in the comments so that I know that you are here. Now, you may or may not be aware that the average person makes around about 35,000 choices a day, okay? 35,000, that's the average person, okay? It is my guess, my very strong hypothesis, that for many of us, particularly those in charge of running a business, that has probably doubled in the last 2 months. And if it hasn't literally doubled, it sure as hell feels like it has. Are you with me? It most certainly feels like that to me. And again, if it feels like that to you, let me know. And the problem is this: when we're having to make so many decisions on a daily basis, and let's face it guys, a lot of the decisions we've been having to make lately was decisions that was going to have huge consequences on various amounts of people, okay? Which means it's even harder. So first and foremost, I think you need to have compassion for yourself that this has been a particularly hard time, all right? But we still want to look at, how do I deal with this, okay? It's one thing to acknowledge and to normalize and to understand why it's happening, but we also need to know how to deal with it, right? So for me personally, when I'm stuck in indecision, I try not to get stuck on the pros and the cons and that type of logical stuff, right? Because until we've dealt with the emotions associated with it, it's really hard to step into the logical part of who we are, particularly for us as helping professionals, because we are so mindful of emotions, right? So what I do is I ask myself, okay, this decision that I need to make, where is the indecision coming from? Okay, is it coming from a sense of exhaustion? Is it coming from a sense of just complete overwhelm? Is it coming from a sense of guilt? Maybe it's something that I know I need to do, but I feel bad about doing it. You know, where is it coming from? Is it coming from number 4, for uncertainty, that I just don't know the answers? I just don't have options. Hey Kate, how are you? I think it is really important to first step into why this decision is hard for us, right? You need to step out of the problem-solving mode, although it's our natural inclination as helpers, as rescuers to do that. Even for ourselves, we want to problem solve, we want to get it done. you are just going to stay stuck in indecision, particularly in the current context environment. You need to step out of problem solving, give yourself that 5 minutes, doesn't have to be more than 5 minutes, and ask yourself, where's it coming from? And then that is the thing that you need to deal with. You know, is it exhaustion? Okay, if it is, what do you need to do? Is it overwhelm? Okay, what do you need to do? Is it just uncertainty? You know, don't have the information. Okay, how do you problem solve that? So it's really taking a step back and problem solving what is behind the indecision. All right, what is behind it? Dealing with that before you can step into decision making. Because let's face it, if it's overwhelm and you can deal with the overwhelm, it's going to make not only this one decision easier, but quite a number of them easier. Okay, it's going to be able to have transferable outcomes and consequences. And the other little warning, bonus warning that I want to give you here today is to be mindful, because we know how we are. I know how you are. You always want to make decisions that is going to be in everybody's best interest. Okay, I know, because I'm also like that. Okay, we ideally want to keep everybody happy, and what I have come to know is that helping professionals as business owners really struggle to sit with the knowing that one of their team members are unhappy or dissatisfied. Okay, which is very interesting. And the problem is this, especially in the current situation. Okay, as a leader, you're going to have to make fast decisions. Okay, there's a book, I'll have to go look up the title of it, but the author talks about the difference between a wartime general and a peacetime general. And the two generals, it's the same person, but they have to act completely different during these two periods. When it's wartime, they need to be decisive, right? When it's peacetime, they are way more consultative. And like it or not, this is wartime, okay? We are at war with COVID-19 from a physical health perspective, from a societal health perspective, right? From a business perspective. This is wartime. You have already had to make so many difficult decisions for your business. And during these times, it's going to be particularly hard for us as helping professionals because we are always worried about our team. It's like if you've got a team of 10 people, it's like every one of them has to be happy. Don't tell me that's not the case. You might know logically that it is impossible to keep them all happy, but I know it's in the back of your mind, scratching at you. That person's not happy, that person's complained about this or whatever. And if the fact of the matter is this, right? Let's say if you've got 10 team members and 2 of them don't like a particular policy that you have in your practice, like they hate it, 120,000 reasons of why it's a bad policy, about why it's unethical, about why it's not in line with client care, or whatever the reasons are, okay, that they might have. And then you have 8 other people in your team that's got no problem with it. But you as a practice owner will be stuck in your head and in your heart on those 2 people that's unhappy. Because it's like, everybody needs to be happy. It's like, it's unrealistic, you know it, but though you try and achieve that, right? And it's like we're our own worst enemies of any business owner. We, as helping professionals, should know that we cannot keep everybody happy at all times. Okay, not only logically, not only in what we communicate and say to our clinical clients, for ourselves, right? It's like we have this subset of rules for ourselves and for other people. Sounds familiar? Sounds like something that you talk to your clients about? Sounds like something you're guilty of? I think it does, right? We should know better than anybody else that it is okay for people to be unhappy, to have a negative emotion, to be frustrated, to sit in their discomfort. Okay, sitting in it's not going to harm us. Sitting in our discomfort is actually good for us from time to time. I would almost say most of the time, right? Every day with your clinical clients, you are teaching them how to sit in discomfort. You are probably sitting in discomfort with them, helping them and teaching them how to contain it. Now, I'm sorry, but if you've got a helping practice with psychologists, mental health social workers, any person, especially in the mental health field, and they cannot sit in discomfort, then they need their own therapy, okay? I'm gonna say it, I'm saying it, because you need to practice what you preach, okay? You need to practice what you preach. Now the problem is this, what I also know, a lot of times psychologists particularly, because I'm a psychologist, I've got a psych practice, and although I work with the whole range of allied health professionals, the majority of my clients are psychologists. Very often we go to our clinical supervisor or they go to their own therapist, and what I have found that very often they don't get challenged. Okay, so my other piece of information to each and every one of you is this: if you've got a clinical supervisor or you've got your own therapist, the day that person stops challenging you is the day you know you need a new one. Okay, if you are constantly going to your clinical supervisor and they're always agreeing with you in terms of how you managing your clients and how you handling yourself as a professional at the practice where you consult at and all that type of stuff, then you know you need a new one. Because the whole goal of therapy, the goal of supervision is to grow. Nothing annoys me as much over the years when I would have clinicians that I would supervise at the practice come to me for clinical supervision, and they were telling me about this client and this amazing stuff that they did and this client and that amazing outcomes. It's like, that's awesome. I'm all for celebrating good wins and outcomes, but that's not the purpose of clinical supervision. And then I would lecture them on the purpose of clinical supervision. You know, the purpose is to come here and to say, I suck at this presenting problem. Or this is a client that I'm making no headway. Or I feel like I'm totally failing this client. We're not getting there, right? This is the place to come spill your guts, to be honest, to be vulnerable, and to get the help that you need to grow and to develop, right? And this is not the place to bring your ego and to be proud and to come and tell me of how good you are at what you do. I already know how good you are at what you do if you're a clinician at my practice. We've got fit outcomes. The dropout rates and retention rates tell me how good you are. Okay, the data doesn't lie. And even if you have amazing KPIs, you will still have clients that you struggle with. Okay, if you don't, then you're not growing as a clinician. And we have to consistently grow. Okay, there's a lot of research out there that actually shows, particularly with psychologists, if you do outcomes research, and don't ask me for it, go and do your own Google search. I'm too busy to find it for you. Go and do your Google search and you'll find that the most growth for clinicians happen this first couple of years post-graduation, and then it tapers off. Okay, but we think we experienced as senior clinicians, which we are, but you need to be very mindful of your growth. It's so easy to get comfortable, okay? So it's really about embracing the discomfort and to bring us back full circle to making decisions. When you're sitting in discomfort about having to make yet another decision, look at the discomfort, ask yourself, what is this about? And what do I need to do today to problem solve it? I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was. Let me know your thoughts. I do come back and read it, probably only later in the afternoon. I've got another busy day. Also getting ready to start promoting a bit of my virtual masterclass that's coming up the first week in June. I'm so excited about it. It's the first time ever that I've had to run the masterclass in the virtual space. Thank you, COVID-19, for putting me into my own sense of discomfort. I was very frustrated initially because, you know, I just love being in the room with people, but it's the same learnings, it's the same curriculum, all of that type of stuff. And I can't wait to do it in June. And yeah, just so excited to send out some information this week, because I am giving $1,000 discount for anybody that registers for the masterclass between today and Sunday, which I believe is the 17th of May. You'll be able to get into the masterclass at the 2019. No, it's not $1,000 difference. I need to check. It feels like it's $1,000. It's probably less. But you're getting in not at the 2020 rate, but at the 2019 rate. It's minimum $500 discount. Why do I think it's $1,000? So anyway, if you go onto my website, it's gerdamala.com.au, and you look under training, under online programs on the left hand side. There's only one. It's the virtual masterclass. All the details is in there. Would love to have you join me. Anyway, I'm almost home. The home is right over there. I spoke to you way longer than I thought I would, but that's the thing, right? Once I get on a roll and start talking to you, it's like, wow, it just goes and goes and goes. Have an amazing Monday, whatever it is that you're up to. Can't wait to speak to you again very soon, don't know when. And yeah, remember, all you need to do is say yes to your very own ultimate level 5 private practice. Bye for now.